Okay. Thank you, Torah Anytime. Thank you, Kavashkacha Pratis. Thank you, Kilaloshin. Thank you, Rabbeinu Shalom, for his goodness, Zikr Rabim. What I just saw about Zikr Rabim. Rav Shach says there's nothing greater than Zikr Rabim. The same person that used to worship him, today, suddenly, doesn't look at him. I can't handle it. There's so much pain. I'm speaking to somebody. His tzaras, he tells me, Nebuch, he has a family problem, a serious issue, Nebuch. Hashem should help him. Everyone be masking with me. I want this man to have Yeshua's Gemuras. I'm not impressed with all the, no, nobody's scaring me. Oh no. I work with the Abish himself. I'm going to make me some employees for this guy and the other guy and everybody. Do you know how many people call me up? And I go one after another. Someone calls me up from an out of state. He had trouble in this part of his body. There's trouble with his son. His body is better. His son is better. One after another. Better here, better there. I gave a guy a bracha last night. He thought he was going to die. I spoke to him today. Totally different picture. I hear this every day. Every day. Every day. I am not impressed. Don't scare me. Suddenly, I got a message from the Shahid. His father had corona or something. Baruch Hashem, much better. One after another. Give a bracha, I expect results. Run to the Abish, to the Abish, to the Abish, to the Abish. The more you go to him, the more Hashem tilcha. You run after him again and again and again. And far from the world. Now, Chizkiah HaMelech. Chizkiah HaMelech was the biggest b'tachon from all the kings. Number one, some Mefarshim say he became bigger than David HaMelech. Chizkiah HaMelech, one of the great things he accomplished in his life was they had the Nachash and Nachashis. They had it since the time of the Midbar. It cured. All the Yidden were dying from snake bites until they looked at the Nachash and Nachashis and they were cured. So Zeichel and Nes, they kept it there for Dairis. Till Chizkiah came along and he said, oh, no. First of all, he was a person who chapped that the later Dairis are not the earlier Dairis. All his grandparents, Tzadikei Hadar, left it because it was an inspiration. Look at Zeichel and Nes. Keep it. But he said, they're starting to make an Avodah Zarah out of it. He smashed it. He called it Nechushton. Says Rashi, all the Mefarshim, to be Mavaza. It's a bezoyendik name he gave it. A piece of nothing. A piece of nobody. Don't impress me. Chizkiah HaMelech, the biggest b'tachon, knew the laws of Bittul. You mavatal everything outside the Eibishter. You must be mavatal. Make jokes out of people. If you're worshiping them, you got to do it. I don't like to say things. I'm a polite person. I don't like to talk to doctor. I talk to Meshuggah. I don't like those lashonos. But sometimes it's survival. You have no choice. I've told people, the doctor, I talk to Meshuggah. He doesn't know if he's coming or going. He's nuts. You may need to speak this type of talk. Because in your mind, the guy is an ogre. The guy's a bear. The guy's got alain. He's the doctor, and he said, and he knows, blah, blah, blah. And he's killing you. With what? With their mouths, they're killing people. They say things that they shouldn't say. They scare people. Chas v'chalila, you got it in your mind. He's got to be dead meat. I had a mice with a doctor. More than once, I laid up. I had no rachmanis on him. No rachmanis. And the spell from them. Rachmanis, these people in medical school, they don't teach you basic common sense. You don't tell somebody you have 2 months to live. You don't talk like that. That's the way you talk. Did you go through, any kind of schooling? They don't teach you basic, don't kill the guy. You know that they was a Talmud of the Ramchal. Raveh was a Gadol b'Yisrael. He was a doctor. He said the main job of a doctor is to convince a patient that he's healthy. The more you convince him, the more true it becomes. I once read a Maisa. This man had yenamachla all over his body, golf balls sticking out of different parts of his body, or grapefruits, that size I'm talking about. And he had a serious, someone got a hold of him and told him it's all baloney, because his mind is so full of that stuff. So you're talking yourself into it? He said he stopped all the treatments immediately. It's a true story. And it all disappeared. For 2 years he was cured. Until one day, somebody told him, that was a mistake. You really do have it. A month later, he was dead. You tell me what's the number one factor. That's right, Novanik, der Geshem once told me, the doctor hat mir gesagt, was halt du? You decide, how well do you feel? You feel well, you'll be okay. It's so much in the mind, you can't imagine. Anyway, I once had an experience way back, made such a reshim on me. The way you feel is your whole life. Make yourself feel like you're okay. Keep saying it. I'm perfect. I'm doing well. I got younger 10 years, so I was really slowing down. Until one day I said, cut it out. Stop slowing down. So I wrote down, you're young as could be. I did it for 2 weeks. And from that day on, I'm getting younger every day. I'm serious. Ask my wife. I slept stuff exactly when I was 25. I had the same keiches. I might be stronger now. I'm not kidding. It's so much in your head. It's all in your head. You know where weight comes from? You think it's so pushy. I want to track down. If this girl could please call me or write me, a girl called me up to tell me that she went on all the diets and nothing happened. So finally she went on Bטחון. And when she was on the Bטחון, she ate what she wanted. And she lost 15 pounds. Until they were afraid you're losing too much weight. Yes, I said, write this up and send it. I never heard from her again. This one, boy, the ladies are going to come running. Oh, they come running. I tell you, okay. I had certain scoopers where the more I ate, the more I lost weight. And I told this over. Anyway, Rav Golumbik said it over in the hotline. He had all the ladies in the world calling him up 24/7. How did that? They want me sugar. All the ladies, lose weight. And I can eat. You know, the Americans are big Bali Yisurim. No one's allowed to eat. America is the land of Yisurim. You can see all the, they bring food here, Erev Shabbos. They bring, there's my neighbor, Tidy Eat, Rabbi Brownie. So he brings all the leftover food from all the stores in the whole area. They stuff up the mamish, the place is packed with food every Friday, hours, and then the light come from all over, and they take whatever you want. Kugel, mit salads, mit nicht, whatever you want, with fruit plates, with this plate, with wraps and schmaps and fish and those. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I take a look at it. There's so much food. I tell myself, it's a pity I'm not a behemoth with 4 stomachs. I can't deal with this. I can't. Who can eat all this? Not keiches to them, and it's such good food. I want to tell you something. When I have a healthy appetite, it bothers me because now you're going to eat too much. But I tell myself, no, I'm happy that I have a healthy appetite. That's the way I look at it. I had situations in my life where I couldn't eat. I know people now who suffer from this. They can't eat because they're physically not the way they should be. So they lose their appetite for mental reasons, physical reasons. A normal, healthy appetite, thank the Eibishter for a normal, healthy. Don't bother me. Yeah, but this will happen, that will happen. I don't know, Rav Chaim Kanevsky's fine. Rav Steipler was fine. He lived till 90. Rav Chaim Steipler. Late 80s for sure. He was grossly overweight. No. Did it make a difference? Because he wasn't in America where, don't eat that. No. He was a Novandik. Talmud the Alta from Novandik doesn't get involved. The Alta from Novandik was also heavy. And he wasn't taking any kind of medications or none. It was nice up so heavy, pleasantly plump. Wasser schlecht mit sein pleasantly plump. Sehr good. Be plumpy, was geht daran? But for a woman, Hashem Yerach, what a woman has to go through of what's going to be later when, you know, you're not allowed to, you have to look, you have to always look like you're looking for a shidduch, you know. When you're 98, you have to look like you're still looking for a shidduch. You're a bubby 10 times over, and you have to look, who cares? No one's looking at you. The whole world has to think, no one's interested in you. But in America, this is America, Olam of Hevel, Kina Taiva Kovid, dominates, and the Kovid, what do they think of you? You know, you don't have to how traumatized I became since the last chasana when they didn't give me Sida Kedushin. It's the same Yetzirah. They didn't give me, I'm still upset. Ask my wife how I was pacing the floors all night. Now I know what they think of me. They think I'm a nobody. It's terrible. Now who cares if they think you're a nobody? Who are they? You know what Geshem once told me? He said, you're worried about this other guy's opinion? Who is the guy? What does his opinion mean? The man is one piece of Negiah from head to toe. Who is he? And you're worried about his opinion. He's a cute guy, you know. What does he know? His entire brain is a product of the people he meets and sees and talks to day and night, which most of them are not too intelligent. Most of them are heavily involved in Kina Taiva Kovid, if they're normal. Chavetz Chaim respected about Yisurim. He's a Nebuch. And according to the Torah, the Nebuch's the good news. A Nebuch, he doesn't have Kovid. He's chashiv. What do you? But no. You have to be this type, you have to be that type, or else. Anyway, Reb Gershon. Heilige Reb Gershon, my heilige Rebbe Reb Gershon Lieberman should have his chusis. A lichtige Gan the kind of life he led after the war. For Shmuel Shnei, as Atzal told me, one of his top Talmidim. He once said about Shmuel Shnei, they should cut him up and send one half to one Meiser, the other half to another Meiser. He was a winner, he was Gavaldi. Shmuel Shnei came to Lakewood. You know what he did the first day? Comes to Lakewood. And he was never an American in his life. A Moroccan doesn't know a word of Yiddish, a word of English, nothing. First day came collecting. As soon as he comes in, so I wasn't able to pick him up right away. So they had the Avreicha Minyan upstairs over there by the alumni, and he disappeared over there. Later, I finally picked him up, and I said, what happened while you were waiting? He says, while I was waiting, I went upstairs. There's a Shavrach's up there. He says, I went upstairs, and I get mazel tov to everybody. Doesn't know a word of English. He just got off the plane. Mamish, the first day, said mazel tov to everybody, and in his Hebrew, Sephardi Hebrew, you know. Mazal tov lemechutanim. He became a ganze, like he's part of the family. He sat down at the head table and made himself comfortable. He said, I'll give you a drasha too. He got up, made a drasha. First day he came to the States, he was at home. That's the Valley. You want to join me, Rabbi? Say, join the Valley. And it's a different country. America. These are Americans. What's an America? What's an American? Who is he? American. What's America? In the Valley, they chop sand. I once told Reb Gershon that the forests in France, nice forests, he says, my nafkamina, the forest in France and the forest in America is the same thing. What are you making a whole thing out of it? You know, Rabbi Miller once said this guy went on a vacation in one of the Bahamas, one of these way out islands somewhere in Yehupitz, and while he's riding a car, and suddenly one of these flies, from these unhealthy little shrotzim that stings him and the blood comes out. you know, and he's writing as the blood comes out, and he's old with the mosquitoes all over the place. He's writing, wish you were here, you know, so you can share the shadows with me. I'm joking, but that Rabbi Miller said he made a chayzik of these. It's all propaganda. The Welt makes a whole thing, going on vacation. All right, I'm not against that, but there's a lot of dimming going on in this world. Anyway, so the Gershon Lieberman, the Heilige of Gershon Lieberman. Was he a tzaddik? Was he oozing with simcha? Every minute. He once saw I looked depressed. And he tried to cheer me up, so he kept looking at me and smiling at me and smiling and smiling. That some of his simcha should wear off on me a little bit. It didn't happen so easily. I was stressed out American with all my issues, you know, this issue, that issue. And, you know, it's a minute to have problems. You know, it's a minute. You have to stick with the minig hamakom. So I had my issues and this issue and that issue, and all depressed. And he tried to, whatever. Anyway, I want to tell you something. If you see somebody that's depressed, you know what you tell them? I had a Talmud who was depressive. I never, ever, ever told him that he's depressed. Never. Instead, I watched him smile. One day he smiled. I says, "You're a smiley kid." And the next day he smiled. "Oh, you're a smiley kid." I ignored the entire issue that he is a depressive kid. I kept saying, "You smile. I like your smile." And I got his number after a while. In the last months of the year, I kept telling him, "You're such a smiley kid." And for the rest of his life, that's what he is. I told him a year later that I played a trick on him. I didn't want to tell him, "You're depressive," and work on it and become a smiley, because then I would kill him. Who's capable of working? He's got to stay for the rest of his life working on his problem of being depressed. I smiled, I didn't smile. You tell him, I know Yingamani told me, one zug, somebody once told him, "You're depressive." He wasn't that bad. He heard it once. For months and months and months, he couldn't smile. Because he got that stempel, I'm a depressive guy. Uh-oh. You never give a guy a stamp, not these days. Because they're not going to work on anything. They can't. So you just give yourself a fake stamp. I'm a happy person. Anyway, this kid, till today, he's the smiliest guy you ever met. And I told him a year later that I was tricking him. I didn't want to address the problem. And he thanks me till Shemayim. Do it to yourself too. Never admit that you have a chasar. I'm great. That's what I did. I got younger like that. I'm older, but I got to work on being younger. No, I'm young. That's the way I am. Always young. I tell this to people in trouble. I tell them, I sense in you a good mazel. A lot of people out there feel they have a bad mazel. Everything goes wrong with me. And I'm always failing, and I'm always this and always that. No. I sense in you just the opposite. You're dafka happy type. And it just has to come out. You know, once you give yourself a stamp, you're finished. You give yourself good stamps for the rest of your life. All day you got to do this. Give yourself a stempel. I'm a smart guy. I'm a happy guy. Don't be afraid. You know what I said on Shabbos in my shul? Rabbi say, I want to make a levaya on another. No more another. Arais. We don't want you. Out of base fetish. You don't belong here. No more another. Not for our generation. Don't you dare. No another around here. But of course, Rabbi Salsalanta says, there are no rules. And that's also not a rule. So there are people out there who work on being humble, and it works. They're fine. But for so many of us, it's poison. The only thing I recommend is never to get a kas and always to give in. That's different. But otherwise, you have to blow yourself up by tying it up. Before, you have first you got to be chametz, and you flatten it down to matzah. It starts off chametz. You flatten it down to matzah. That's what you have to do. But if you're not chametz, You can't make it starts off, you put down the chametz, so you make it, you razel it down and make it into matzah. Chovos HaLevavos says, first you got to know how big you are, and then you can become an Adam. And I am busy all my life with part one. First, you know how big you are. Sit there and stay there. You think you already made it? Go more. I'm the best guy sitting in this room, not the guy next to me. No. Me. I'm by far the best. Make away with your mistakes. You go sugar if you can worry about your mistakes. Everybody from Matasio once gave a shmooze about Yosef HaTzadik and his brothers and his father. His father, Yaakov Avinu, was Meshana Bein Abanim. You want to know how not to raise kids? Take a look at Yaakov Avinu. Don't give him, you bought a nice, expensive Possum, then you didn't. Boom, you caused the whole problem. So Yaakov Avinu remains forever as an example of how not to raise children. Yaakov Avinu! What do you hear from this? You're allowed to make mistakes. You're not up-gefrekt. And big ones. You're still not up-gefrekt. He's dead. And Yosef didn't make a mistake telling his brothers his dreams over there. And the Basam Ra. And his brothers didn't make a mistake by selling him. It's mistakes. What do you see from the story? You're allowed to make mistakes. You're not up-gefrekt. Don't sit on them and worry about them and talk about them. Never verbalize a negative emotion. Never say, well, I'm not really good, but none of that stuff. I am a Muslim gadol ad ma'id. You want to go against your midas? Keep saying you're a Muslim gadol ad ma'id. You'll get Eilam Haba for that. I'm telling you, get Eilam Haba for it. You're going to go around all day. You know how much more you're going to accomplish for Klal Yisrael if you hold from yourself. There's so much in you. The world will never see it because you're too busy knocking yourself. Anyway, let's get my Moshe coming. Erev Pesach. The Moshe. They want to hear, Moshe William. Moshe, my head. Name Shaya. Listen, you know that Reb Gershon, you know that during the war, he built a yeshiva inside the ghetto. You know that. Underground yeshiva, 40 Bachrim. And anybody was caught in the street, he was walking around the streets recruiting Bachrim. I know somebody who was, Rav Gurvitch joined him because they made a play. His friend conned him into coming because they made plays to attract Bachrim. And he wasn't so frum at that point or whatever. The play attracted him, and they got him in. They became a Gatz and Novandik, Rav Gurvitch, big tzaddik. I knew him, his Zayat come live here in Lakewood. So how did Rav Gershon build the yeshiva right? They said the Nazis liked them. You believe it? Because they're cheretz. The Nazis like the way they act. It's unbelievable. Because Rav Gershon faffed in the whole world. I have one Rabbeinu Shalom. And I'm not worried that Kiyuv Zenished. Maybe will take care of me. You really, really feel Hashem. You are not scared. You really feel Hashem. Nothing scares you. You got to get heavily involved in the Eibush. I advise everybody to do it. Get involved. Sit there. I don't want to tell people learn an hour a day. B'tachon. It's too much. 10 minutes is fine. I was once criticized by one of our Chashava Yingalite over here. He told me, if you would have told us to do it 10 minutes, we'd listen. You said an hour, you lost us. So I better watch what I'm doing around here. Learn 10 minutes a day, B'tachon, Nechaba Shmuz with the Eibush. You know what I say when you're in the car? Don't turn on somebody's tape. Oh, what do you? Turn on your own tape. Talk to Hashem. You'll die. That's what I think. You don't have to listen to me. You'll die. You have time. It takes longer to go to school these days. You can spend all that time chopping and schmooze with it. Tatin Shamayim. And Shayrish from all Atzlachas is the Eibush. He's everything. You have him. You have him. It's so sweet to be alone with Hashem. More and more, Hashem, I love you to pieces. Say it. Hashem, I love you. Say it. Imagine how he feels when people say that to him. I love you. Hashem, you're wonderful. I can't get over you. You mean it, you don't mean it. Just keep saying it. I love you, Hashem. In Novandik once, a Meister of Galinsky overheard. I used to have the way of Galinsky used to talk about Hashem. He used to go with sugar. I went to Weinkrantz 2 weeks before he was nifta, and he was this guy describing, he lost his voice, and suddenly he came back. And I said, what happened? And he smiled, he pointed, and his face was beaming with simcha. The Eibishter, he loved the Eibishter, he loved him. Nobody, they taught you how to love Hashem. And then one of the main ways is get away from people once and for all. That's not easy. Not easy at all, but you have to try. Don't be nispal from people, what they think, what they say, what they... Kids, Rabbi Miller was murdered into that. Midas ha'ishtavus is tachlis ha'chamudais. It's the most desirable midah in the world. Is midas ha'ishtavus. You don't give, they love you, hate you. You don't care. Decide, I'm not sensitive enough. I speak to people with tzaras, left and right, shalom bias, they kill each other. He started, she started, how can you call me this, how you call me that? Come to Novanik, you'll love it when they yell at you. Come to Novanik, you'll learn that Bezyenis is a bracha. I had a dam priyamari at my shul. You were there, you heard my Rich Chodesh mention? Were you there? It wasn't that great. Kids, I don't know, probably was Gavaldi. And since I'm so worried about my COVID, so I got it all figured out. So nobody knew the difference except for me. I felt I made this mistake, that mistake. So when I got up afterwards to speak, I said, you know, in the world, a good davening means you daven Yishma. Because by me, a good davening is another mistake, another bezayin, bracha, more bezayin. Every time you get a bezayin, you lost the trip to the hospital. You have it here. You don't have to burn in Gehenna. You have Bezyenis. You don't have to have worse issue. Nothing like Bezyenis and Bayas Navadig is Bezyenis is good news. Guess what happened to me, Mommy? The kids in my, I'm planning on making a community, a Navadig community. I told you what's going to be in my community. There's going to be a big picture with a guy with his hat on backwards. Welcome to a Navadig city. Please dress accordingly. With a guy. And we're going to train our kids to come running to, Mommy! Little babalach are going to come to the mother running to the good news. What happened? They're not going to run. We won the game. You know, no. Mommy! Good news. What happened, babala? What happened? I got Bezyenis today. That's the way we're going to raise our kids. Mommy, I got Bezyenis. Isn't that great? And mother's, I'm so proud of you. Yes, I love Bezyenis, Mommy. You want to live a happy life? I once saw somebody be Mavaza, Rav Galinsky. He was smiling ear to ear. I once saw somebody Mavaza, Rav Nosson. I remember exactly what happened. Adam Godel B'Torah, a real tzaddik. I was surprised what happened there. He got up and he said, don't sit me next to Rav Nosson. I was there at a Shabbat, whatever. Rav Nosson was rolling. He was laughing his head off. Bezyenis, because he was a Baal Musa, it pays to learn Musa. Baal Musa, they're prepared for that stuff. Oh, you don't hold for me. It's delicious. Oh, you don't hold for me. That's terrible. Oh, you think I'm a terrible guy. That's so terrible. Oh, and you think I'm not so smart. That's lovely. Oh, you think I'm crazy. That's so nice. Nice to hear your holy opinion. Reb Gershom once said, the guy in front of you's opinion. What is it worth? The guy's a shtick negia from head to toe. Does he have his own brain? No way. All he has is Vayem Rabri is. See, my wife asked me always, how many people were there? There's a big other. How many people? She never, ever gets a straight answer from me. Oh, it's packed when nobody comes. Oh, it's packed. Because I'm in my own world. Why? As if, when you say it's, I'm ayin type, I hold it's always good. A little. You live in your world of bטחון. You say it's packed, that means, in my eyes, everything went good. They once showed Rabbi Miller his Einiklach. They were carrying on like a bunch of bandits. And the kids were very worried. Look at the Einiklach, they're not behaving. Rabbi Miller takes a look. What wonderful children you have! And the kids killing each other, poking each other. I don't know what happened exactly. I don't know how bad it was. Have an ayin tova. Then you'll steig an ayin tova, you'll steig in bטחון, see only good, don't ever see bad in anybody, especially yourself. Don't see anything bad in yourself. Never. Always see good, because your Yetzer Hara is 24/7 telling you you're nobody. Don't listen to that garbage. Whoever came to this Vad, even if you're not present, you're listening to me from that machine over there, or from this telephone over here, from this guy, you're hearing me. You're still a tzaddik, because you came to be Mavakish Amuna. By the way, you know how many times people have come over to me and said, remember you were talking about the guys in the machine? I'm one of them. It's so funny. I'm one of those guys in the machine. It was like, how are the Achavar doing? You're enjoying me? Am I good today? My joke's good these days? I hope so. You better say yes, because I'll be traumatized. You have to say yes to everybody nowadays. You don't want to hurt the poor guy. People are sensitive. Ragish. Everybody's ragish. But remember, make up your mind, I am not ragish. I am not ragish. Oh, you heard about the Arab that likes my stuff? In his letters, if anybody wants to read it, you have to read it as an Arab who likes me. An Arab is listening to me. His father's a Christian, his mother's a Muslim. He's a ganze mice over there, and he likes my stuff. He says it brings, first he doesn't like religion, because religion he knows is, well, let's blow each other up. It's not a mahalach. He understands that. Let's get together, and if you're in a good mood one day, let's kill each other. That's a smart thing to do. And keep leavening. It's boring otherwise. You kill each other. It's not so boring. And so that's what he said. He said the best part of me is my humor. He says, not what I say, it's my humor. So that puts me on now. I better stick to that humor, or else the cover he gave me is gonna chas v'sholom. If I don't, that's why people get nervous when from compliments, because compliment means you better live up to that, or else you lost that covered. Anyway, he likes my sense of humor. I heard there three Yiddish said about me that I'm hilarious. You hear that? Now, I don't like to talk to ladies. I'll tell you why. I told you why I don't like to talk to ladies? The last time I spoke to a lady, this happens to be true. At the end of the conversation, she said, Rabbi Mendel, I heard you Mashiach. So I told her, I heard that from another lady also. So you had a second lady to come upon such a astounding discovery about me. But I heard there's another girsa, that some people say I'm Mashiach's donkey. Mashiach's eisel. And I say it, being his donkey is not such a bad thing. What's so bad? Anyway, I'm just joking. Anyway, so it was so lucky to be in the Eibishter's world. You may have Pesach are coming. What Pesach is now is a time in the Novhardok they take each other apart. And they enjoy doing it. They do everything with a simcha in the Novhardok. Take each other apart and they come home. I heard this from a bacha. His mother and her friend both said, I don't mind if my husband's gone for 4 weeks before Pesach, because when he comes back, he's such in a high madrega that it's a different Pesach. Imagine, they're away from home for 4 weeks, busy pulling each other, taking each other apart, and, working on themselves. It's good, I needed something a little more lebedik around here. There's a Maisa with Rav Shalom Shadran, was once speaking. In the middle of the speech, some guy, he said something controversial. So the two first rows picked themselves up and walked out. It was controversial, so the two first rows picked themselves up and walked out. So what's he going to do? As soon as they did that, he pointed to the guys in the back who were standing. Rabbi said, those guys in the back, you got room now. Come up front. Now you got... So you have to make, the Meiser of Rabbi Miller. Somebody once spoke in the Holocaust. He was knocking the pre-Holocaust Jews that they weren't so great and they deserved what they got. So this Holocaust survivor, you shouldn't know what he went to. His Alta Polish Yidel, like he couldn't handle that one. He says, "Nein!" He gets up in front of everybody, starts screaming at Rabbi Miller. "Nein, wie können wir so reden? In Polish gewesen Ehrlich Yidden." And he started, the way they sound, these old Polish Yidden, they were sweet Jews, by the way. And he was very enraged that Rabbi Miller should say such a thing, that the Yidden were nichshel and whatever they were nichshel in, and they used to punish them. He didn't like it. So So people said, Rabbi Miller, he's disturbing the whole drasha. He says, no, leave him. It brings in more people. I see somebody tumbling, makes a lebedik. Yeah, make a lebedik. Anyway. So, what was I talking about? Chizkiah Melech. Chizkiah Melech made a joke, Nechushtan. He made a joke about Avodah Zarah. You have to make a joke. Now there's 2 times where David HaMelech said, Lashon Chizuk. One time he said, Vayischazik David v'Hashem Mlikod. When the Amalekim captured, he had like a few hundred men before he was actually the Melech. He was running around helping Yidden all over the place, making himself available for the Klal. When suddenly Amalekim came and they captured all the wives and children. It was a horror story. And David started crying. Him and his men, they were crying. Until they didn't have koach to cry anymore. That's how much they cried. It was terrible. And then the men wanted to kill David. You got us into this. David, they were up in arms. Amalekim, they have our wives and children. They captured them. Who knows what they're doing? So, what did David do? David went to the Yom Betumim. And so David says like this, David HaMelech, Vayischazik David b'adei Shem Mlikod, the Eilik Chavetz Chaim. This is his favorite chazal about Bטחון. And David made himself strong. With Bטחון, says the Chavetz Chaim, he was B'chazik in Bטחון. As soon as B'chazik in Bטחון, he has the Yom Betumim. What's going to be if we go to war? We're going to win? You go, you won. He went to war and he wiped them all out. All his wives and children were not touched. So says the Heilige Chavetz Chaim, because he was Meschazik and Bטחון, that's why the Yom Betumim said you're going to win the war. Before you go to a Rebbe, I've done this. I once went to a Rebbe before I went. I davened to make him say what I want. I don't know if that's so orthodox to do that. You got to watch out. Sometimes you got to be mabatl yadas. But whatever, I've done those things and they work like a fiddle. I say I go straight to the Yebish because you don't go to people. Anyway, the person has a shliach. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yes, the Yebish will take care of you. Always connect with the Yebish. That's the first thing. So if you are meschazik, I was meschazik in Bטחון before I went to Reb Chaim Kanevsky about something. And he answered me like you would answer about Bטחון. Everything will be alright. Because he is a reflection of you. Anyway, that's what it says. Vayischazik David b'adei Shem Mlikod. And that was by Bטחון. There's another place. When he was about to leave the world, and his little Yingala, Shleimallah, was standing before him, his Tati leaving the world, and David takes a look at him and says, Shleimallah, v'chazakta v'yisa le'ish, be a man. I want to tell you like this. 2 times says Chizik by David HaMelech. One, in Bטחון, v'yischazik David, and the other one is, be a man. So I tell you, my sheet, the 2 chizuks you need in believing in Hashem can do anything and don't be scared of nothing. The other one is be mechazik and be a big person. Hold from yourself. And you know the Breslovers say, Rav Nosson Breslovers are a beautiful vote. He said the madrega of Rav Nachman Breslov is that much chizuk. The madrega of Baal Shem HaKadosh was that much chizuk. The madrega of the Arizal was that much. Madrega of Rashbi, chizuk. Rabbi Aaron says, the madrega of a person is totally in how much he holds from himself. The more you mechazik, be mechazik yourself all day long. Moses said that today, said, I gotta work in this, I gotta work in that. No! Maybe you should. I'm not saying there's no rules. But I would say, I'm so great here. I'm great. Give you some chizuk. I'm so gewaldig there. I did so well there. Ignore negatives. No, I'm doing better and better. I'm great. I'm no one better than me. Give yourself more chizuk you have, the more you're going to grow. So there were 2 kings that they say were greater than David. One was Yehoshaphat. Where was he greater than David? Not Yehoshaphat. Yes, it was Yehoshaphat. It says Yehoshaphat, in a way, Yeshayim was greater than David. The other one that Yeshayim would say was greater was Chizkiah Melech. And Yehoshaphat, it says on him, he had this godless Adam, what Mandel's always talking about. And the other one was, who was the other one? The other one was Chizkiah HaMelech, that on him it says he was the biggest Baal B'tachon. Those two sugyas I would dedicate my life to be machazik in those two areas. To be mizteach in Hashem, no matter what, biggest nisim, you'll get it. By the way, I'm very good with the cops. You know what happened to me lately with the cops? Two guys called me up last week, and one of them says, I'm going to court tomorrow. Please daven for me. It's scary business. Nothing will happen. Another guy comes over to me a day later. I always get the same issues the same time. He says, maybe daven for me. I'm going to court. Nothing is going to be perfect. The next day, they both call me back. And I says, what happened to you? Anes! Thanks to your brachas. And what was the matzav? He hit a cop. Assault a cop. You know what that is? You know he's heading for a thing like that? You know, you hit a cop. Ooh, I didn't know that. I didn't know my brachas. If I would have known that there was a bracha for that, I would have wondered, you sure your bracha's going to work? So I didn't know what the problem was. I just nothing. And they let him go. Nothing. They didn't touch him. They said he wasn't feeling good. Goodbye. He's not so 100%. Goodbye. That's why. The other one, next day he tells me, so what did you do wrong? He says he was driving while he had the cell phone. And it's very serious stuff, by the way. You have a cell phone. It's mamish Shem Yerachem, hundreds of dollars with points. And he said, they suddenly changed their mind. Obstruction, whatever, they made a whole bubba might say $60, no points, no nothing. Free bird. So I got two mifsim, one after another. I get the same type of mifsim, the same time. Is that something? I got some more mifsim. Oh, don't ask. I daven to the Eibishter. I want to have, right now I'm davening for money. I'm getting there. And whenever I daven for money, an hour later someone gives me a $200 check. There was Mitzvah Shabbos. 2 hours. I didn't expect nothing. $200. They wanted to give me more. So, anyway. So, whatever I daven for, I am a spoiled. Here you go. There you go. You're the best. You're the sweetest guy around. You're the sweetest sugar. You already gave me. This guy is. How'd your mother get you? I want to get her cell number. How is she zeicher? This guy's a piece of gold. He loves to give. That's him. That's his. He can't help it. He gives. Good Jewish heart. Anyway, so what was I saying? The Hashem should pay you back. It's going to go. My b'tachon weeklies. Anyway, so what happened? They was just so good. I'm oozing. Always talk positive. Always. Hashem likes it. You like it. It's healthy. It's good for your body. It's good. Just talk positive. Don't be afraid of lying. No. Just talk positive. That's it. Anyway. So I said like this. I get 45 phone calls a day. Not every day. Sometimes I only get 25, whatever. I'm serious. Last night, boom, right after Shabbos. Okay? But like I said, it's usually the same guy with OCD. I'm joking. Anyway, but I says, hey, Mr., I want to get phone calls that give me, I want the tzibur here. I'm running a whole operation here. I'm taking over the world. I am taking over the world. I need, I'm glad to speak to a yachid with a shalom bayis and with this one, refuah. It's nice to do that, but I have to get the show moving. I've got people that want to go out and take over the world. I need jobs for them. I need to move. Please get me that type of stuff. That day, I get 2 phone calls. One, somebody gave me $1,000 if their child gets a shidduch. Their 28-year-old, see the shabacha, 28. That someone becomes a chassan. There's $1,000. They gave it to me right away. It should be a schus. A few weeks later, a chassan. But I found out later he was already moving. not for one of my big mifsim, but this person promised me. Anybody wants to get involved in shidduchim, by the way, anybody interested, there's money available. That's a thing for me. I need these type of things. You want a job, anybody? We'll start. I'll tell you what I'm planning. Yeah, you want? We'll do it like this. do research on all those successful shidduchim. Pay your money for it. Where somebody, after many years, they got a shidduch. What did they do? How did they do it? I'll say it over. Maybe you want to say it over once a week. I'll get together. Special shidduchim, you'll get money. That's the plan. Sure. So that's one. And the other one, a famous, I don't want to say the details, want me to become a partner in their thing. And that day that I said, Eibishter, I want progressive stuff right there. And then another guy calls me up. He just gave 1,000 copies of B'tachon weeklies in Bnei Brak. The other guy, another phone call. Kiryat Yael just gave 1,000. Another phone call, South Africa. He gives 400 copies for Rabbi Miller. He wants to put me in the same matzah. Another phone call, Bacher just got together 14 Bacherim. He's making a new B'tachon Keilim. And I'm looking to make Keilim. Just got 14 Bacherim. And what else? I have one after another. You ask for it, you get it. What do you say to that Mephis? Now listen to it now. I have some more, the latest Mephsim. I have Bli Ein Hara, one after another. I'm just shikah from success. Every single person that calls me has Yeshuas. There are some people that call me up and they tell me. They leave me messages. I don't even hear the compliments anymore. I don't hear the compliments, but I should listen to them and chazar them. It'll give me some more self-esteem. I'm not blown up enough. You think this is enough? This is just the starters. Think I'm a blown up enough elephant? No, sir. I want to go much more. Listen, I'll tell you why. The element has got my number. I asked my wife if I had some guests over Shabbos. Ma, tell them the truth. Did you have a dream when I got married I looked like this? She said, no. I was the quietest guy in the universe. Nobody believes that one. Nobody had, my wife was sitting right there, so she knows me. I got more to say, what I used to be. If you learn Shar B'tachon, Rabbi Sai, sit there and you watch your life turn around. But the derech Novhardok, because Novhardok they know how to not be afraid of people. It goes together. You got to do pulas, you got to do a prat. Not be afraid, daven for the yomid, even though you're not good at it. Do it again. Speak in public, even though they didn't ask you to speak. I went to a Novhardok of Shlema figure, got up out of Levaya, and they were moving. Suddenly he stops. No one asked him anything. He stops, and he made a beautiful hesped. Oh, Rabbi Saira made a hesped without asking no questions. We don't need to be asked to speak. We speak. Lachrei. Try it, Rabbi Saira. Verpack the Welt. What do you care what people think? They'll think you're crazy, think it is, think it that. Now, how much more time? Okay, I'm going another few minutes, then we're going to stop. Anyway, try to do pratim. Go over to a guy that looks scary. Say hello to him. Don't be afraid of him. And in Mitzvah Hashem, I hope the Ulam here, Zikr Ram, is the number one thing. I have so many people involved in helping you. If you want to get my B'tachon weekly out there, it's great. I have other ideas. So I want to get things. Doing Zikr Rabim will bring you all the brachas in the world. It's the best thing. It's a W-doer. The happiest people in the world are those people that are out now. Yehopitz, spreading Torah. Those are the happiest people anywhere. That's the way to go. It's a mistake. People live for themselves. How is my wife, my children, my learning, my davening, my this? We're talking about the best of us. They're in themselves and themselves. Yeah, I do chesed too. Fine. But it's all me. So I tell you like this. Instead of spending your life, Rabbi Nosson used to scream about this. Do for other people. Do for other people. Do for others. The Alter from the Novhardok says, Kol hanois and noitel. If you give others, you're going to end up you'll come out ahead. Erev Yom Tov, give money. Anybody want to give? I'm collecting for Eretz Yisrael. Always collecting, and go more. Spend time on it. Yeah, it once pulled me out of bed once on Purim. I was in bed, one of these Epstein bars, one of these Michigasin that I had, I'm just as crazy as everyone else, Rabbi say. Don't think we're all the same. I'm in bed, I'm a shig, I can't move. It's going on for a week. I can't move. Rabbi Yonason Black comes over to me. There's a certain yid I used to collect for. He says, I have a $5,000 check. You make 5,000, I match it. If not, you see me rip it up right here? No, don't rip it up. Get out of bed and get to work. I had 3 hours left to pour him. I made $5,000 and I got his 5,000 and I was cured. When you have something you have to do, they need you, they want you. You move, you do, you grow. Don't be afraid of the world. The world's just as crazy as you are. Do a prat. Don't be afraid. Let him make fun of you. I'll help you. Come to me. You go to the Rosh Havad and you tell the Rosh Havad, I wasn't scared. This guy made fun of him and I popped him. I did the other day. Rabbeim get together. And a few hundred Rabbeim, they get together, Torah Masorah. They have a whole thing. We listen to lectures, and this guy made a lecture, and he was speaking for everybody. I made sure to open my big mouth 4 times. And I wasn't so interested in the idea was, I wasn't scared. I see everybody sits like this. It's a big crowd. It's scary, So everybody sits in a straitjacket. Everybody's in the street. There are some people who speak up a little bit. I'm the last person to speak up, but I dafka do it. All the time, every opportunity. I did it in front of Gedolei Torah. I don't want to say there's yeshivas all sitting there, right in front of everybody. I hold faket. I've done these things. I'm high risk. Ooh, what I've done. How I ever got away with it, I don't know. And so this fellow, now usually when I speak, I get a lot of covet from it. First, the guys admire that this guy's not afraid to open his big mouth. And I usually say something a little funny or a little something. I'm even a compliment to the guy. When I say something good or I challenge a little bit, whatever it is. But this time, the guy, all 4 times, I asked him, did you have any cases? He's a big person in Chinuch. Any situations where tefillah helped you, b'tachon helped? Never! So he he got me like, I couldn't even get the first base with him. That was the answer to that. And every time I said something, no, you got it all wrong, I wasn't worth a penny. Nobody laughed at my big chachma. And I says, what would I do? If I wouldn't be in a Vardig, I'd be devastated. I tried so hard to show everybody what a big shot I am, and nobody even laughs at my jokes, and nobody's encouraged me, nothing. In the Vardig, this is delicious. In the Vardig, as long as you broke that ice, who cares what they said, what you said? You broke the ice, you're not afraid. I'll help you if you want to do this. I remember the first time Gershon Lehman told me to daven Musaf, Hashem Yirachem. I can't, and these are on Shabbos, these are Sfardim. I don't know the Nusach, I don't know. I can daven Musaf now, that's all I need. And Kabbalah Shabbos I like to daven. Ma'ariv, that's my thing. Mencha, but Musaf, no, I never get near that. And he says, go daven Musaf. So I'm not going to say no to Rav Gersh and say daven Musaf. I told him it's going to be Gefelach. He says, go daven, but it's going to be terrible. And the Sfardim, my Nusach is, go daven, but it's going to be, go daven for the Yom Tov. So I went in front of a whole yeshiva, I davened, and it was horrific. My davening was mamish like shreklach. As soon as I finished, Reb Gershon is all smiles. Sehr good! Good job! They don't care. As long as you broke the ice, it's good, it's not good. They like it, they didn't like it, you didn't say the niggin right, but they just get up. They're not complicated, by the way, I don't want to say anything. But they get married like that too. They say, take this girl and get married. You don't have to look it up. What is that? My nafkamina. There's Gemara. Okay, be Mekayim the Gemara, take a peek. But they're not into it. The Vardigas, they marry. No problem. Let's get married. I'm serious. They don't, I know a certain Vardiga. They told him, it wasn't his first marriage. They told him, you married that lady, you're going to be a divorce in 2 weeks. He told me the story himself. He says, I laughed at them. I married her, and I was at his house. She loved him. He's not around anymore, tzaddik. Because they don't know what marriage is. The world, marriage means she's good, she's not good, you fit in, you're not fit in. That's marriage. You're never finished with that. You go Meshuggah, even if you're in Novanik. How is your cast problem? That's marriage. That's all it is. You didn't get angry, you're successful. And if you're never getting angry and you're always being down the kapschos, you're always giving yourself, I'm the bad guy around here. How can you have an unhappy marriage? They go Meshuggah. They're always right. Oh, you are right. You know what I do? People argue with me about anything. I always agree with them, and I say b'kol. You're right! You know, I don't just say giving in, you're right, I'm wrong. I don't do none of that stuff. I get up with a tkifas, with a stolz. You are right! This guy is following me in public. Someone once saw me, he admired me, Mendel, but you are right. What did you do? I says, what do you care? My nafkamina, let him think he's right. And I said, b'kol ram, you're right! Yes, you are right. I hold like you. I'm wrong. So you do it the right way. It don't hurt so much. If it'll help him, this Pesach, the Gula Shlema, even before Pesach, you have